Welcome back. Have you ever wondered what exactly is underneath the Arkham Knight map? No? Too bad, because today we're going to find out. This video is a pseudo-sequel to the How Much of Arkham Knight Can You Complete Before the Main Story video, which I uploaded a few weeks ago. It was through that video that I was made aware by a few of you guys of a really easy out of bounds glitch, which allowed us to get out of the confines of the game and explore to our heart's content. Stick around because I'll be showing you how to do the glitch in just a second, and stick around to the end because I did something pretty cool which I think a few of you might appreciate. So I don't know if I should give a seizure warning before we get into this, but some of this footage is really trippy, so if you suffer from that kind of thing, please click off and go and watch this video instead. It's really cool and is much less seizure inducing. The initial idea for this video was to see how much of the game you can complete before the main story across all 3 islands. However, after some exploring, there really isn't much to see. A lot of the map simply isn't available to explore due to the lack of collision on these unrendered parts of the map, aside from a few small bits in the early stages of the islands. The only thing I was able to find was a lone firefighter who we were able to rescue pretty easily, and if you haven't seen that last video, which I will link below, we were able to get 6 Wayne Tech points before meeting Gordon atop the GCPD. However, I can now confirm, purely through just doing things in the story and no challenge maps, you can actually make this 7 points with this firefighter. So that's pretty interesting, although this was on a different save file, because they didn't record me doing this for the first time, because, well, I'm kind of stupid. But aside from this, there really wasn't much else to find. Anyway, here's my super in-depth tutorial on how to get out of bounds. You see this wall underneath the helipad at the studios? Just glide into it. Yep, that's it. For those of you who didn't know, you just glide through this brick wall at the Panessa Movie Studios and bam, you're out of bounds. So what is there to see? Well, I began by just exploring, gathering my bearings and being in awe that this glitch is that easy. After that, we began our journey into the void. I quickly discovered that the void was an unforgiving place. If you begin falling, it's over, and you even get a nice little death screen. It's worth noting though that if you do this glitch before the main campaign begins or just after meeting Gordon, it seems Penguin or Two-Face will be the one who taunts you. If you do it after the main story though, it'll be Alfred. I haven't tried it at any point in between, but I'm assuming if you do it in the story, it'll be Crane or Jason taunting you, since you're not being killed by any faction specifically. Outside of this though, there's a few things which I wanted to bring to your attention. The first is this ominous little box. Now, I don't know anything about game design, so if anyone knows what this is for, if it even has a use, let me know down below. But I found it quite cool. It has collision and everything a box should have. 6 sides, a few corners, that sort of stuff. It was when I was standing on top of this box, pondering, that I noticed something really cool. You know that bit in the main story where the militia begin lighting the GCPD up like a firing range? Well, in that cutscene, we see the D of the GCPD fall off the building and, well, this is where it ends up, right under the map. And it never really leaves, which I think is a comforting thought, if nothing else. I did try and visit the D, but unfortunately it just does whatever this is. Get used to this god-awful visual effect because it happens a lot. It's painful to watch, but sadly if you mess with the void you get the visual horns. Anyway, we kept falling and eventually at around 4,500 metres under the map died, bringing this journey to an end. But a reset and a glide later and we were back under. We had a play around on these rocks like some sort of armoured puffin and kind of just had a look around. As someone who really enjoys knowing the inner workings of games, this was really fun. I mean, do I understand why any of this is here or what the hell holds it all together? Absolutely not. I can only assume it's the black box which glues Night Streets together. One strategy I did find useful was the classic grapple cancel. It allowed us to get virtually anywhere, however it was a little situational as there aren't a huge amount of places where the game will let you grapple to from under the map. So when an opportunity presented itself we used it and, of course, it wasn't without pain. Doing this moved the camera and, well, I don't really know where. I think it pushed the camera way out in front of Batman, which makes controlling him less than ideal. However, we managed to push through and continue our glide, and we managed to make it to Arkham City. Not hugely far into it, because I'm pretty sure the camera combined with the general unstable nature of being under the map combined to stop us, but it was a nice trip. Another respawn saw me make my finest discovery yet though, arguably my favourite thing under the map. The ominous elevator. Now this elevator became my new mission. I wanted to explore its very fibres, so I set my mind to it, and well, after a failed attempt, we managed to get just enough lift under the cape to enter it. I know, you're thrilled right now, but I'm always one to up the ante, and I don't want to completely blow your mind, but Yeah, I got on top of the elevator. Now I'm sure you're wondering, does it do anything? Well, no it doesn't. But it is right underneath the Killinger's department store where there are plenty of elevators, so I'm assuming this was either dropped here by a careless employee or spawns under here to act as some sort of interdimensional anchor. Either way, this was easily the coolest thing I managed to find. It has full collision, full textures, but unfortunately doesn't go anywhere. It was on my second attempt at getting into the elevator I found this building. Even while I'm recording this, I don't know what this building is or where it's from. So if anyone knows or wants to hazard a guess, let me know down below, because all jokes aside, this sort of stuff genuinely does really interest me. I tried to see what gadgets would work down here too, and actually managed to get a remote batarang into Killinger's, which was pretty cool. It didn't do much while above ground, alas, it was cool. I also decided to head over to Ace Chemicals expecting something to grapple onto, but I had no such luck, so Ace was a bust. It was all smoky, and again, the camera really hindered us from being able to see where the hell I was going. In another outstanding discovery, I found this floating oblong, which decided to disappear when I got close. However, its collision remained, which made for a great photo mode moment. This was quite cool, and again, I'd be interested to know why this is here, if there is a reason at all. I was then tricked into a false sense of collision by this flat thing, which I fell through, bringing this run to an end. You can't keep a good soldier down for long though, and so we managed to jump back into the void and headed to mainland Gotham, which was quite fun. If only we got this as a playable map. Rocksteady, drop the live service nonsense and give me a fully explorable mainland Gotham and my life is yours. In this batch of exploring, I discovered this asteroid-looking thing. It has collision, which would be great if the only way to get near it wasn't to go below its peak. This meant we couldn't actually get onto the asteroid. However, it's still cool, and again, I want to know why this is here. I think it might just be unused assets like a lot of the things under here. But finally, in this batch, we did a little gliding, some grappling, and well, we ended up in the tunnel under Port Adams, which was pretty cool. I really wanted to get into one of these cool underground locations Night has without using the elevator or conventional means, and well, completely by accident, we managed to do it. Later that day though, I had an idea. What if we combined two of Arkham Knight's coolest glitches and took a character who isn't Batman under the map? Would this change anything? We'd have to be in a challenge map this time, so maybe things were different under the map, or I don't know. So I hopped on Revive and Shine and did the out of bounds glitch here. And for those of you who don't know how this works, don't worry young Padawan, Obi-Wan Cardobi is here to teach you. You've got to stand under this lamppost and angle the grapple gun at this tramline thingy, so your character ends up on the right hand side closest to the wall when they dangle off it. From here, simply let go and pull back on your movement stick, and in theory you should just drop to the other side of the wall. During my tries doing this though, I ran into a small issue. See, if you do this with a character that has a cape, they seem to just turn around when they leave the confines of the wall. I tried for like 30 minutes with Robin and then Batgirl, and for the life of me it wouldn't work. I went and tried the glitch to get out of bounds on Deconstruction, but it's either been patched or I have a serious issue. Some comments on Caboose XBL's guide said it was patched, others said it wasn't, so I'm not too sure. By the way, shout out to Caboose XBL, what a guy, legend of the community. I'm sure my shout out will make his career really take off. Anyway, after some more trying, I had a thought. Red Hood doesn't have a cape, so in theory he has no way to get himself back into the map, and well, I was right. After about 3 attempts with Jason, he broke the boundaries and the odyssey to the movie studios would begin. Wait, pause the music. I thought we'd been stumped here with no way around this invisible wall, but I decided to see if the classic trick of undermining the game's intelligence would work, and well, it did. Just drop into the water at the right angle and the game will just let you past. Hooray, you may now continue. Once we made it to the studios, I had an epiphany. A pretty bad one. How was Red Hood, who has no cape, supposed to get his ass through this wall? Well, I took a page out of my good friend Val Strakuga's book and did some experimenting. But whereas he does methodical, sensical testing over numerous runs, I just threw shit at the wall and prayed it stuck. And well, after failing the jump, I mean, why did I even think that would work? Some of the shit stuck and I discovered this little ledge, which if you tread lightly on, you can literally just walk through the wall, which is quite fun. I like that. Now, you, the intelligent viewer, might be thinking, how will Red Hood be able to explore the map to see if he doesn't have a cape? Well, he can't. Yeah, sorry to disappoint, but in the absence of having a cape user who can breach the giant blue wall, Red Hood actually can't really do much. I tried to grapple up to this wall, but it didn't really lead anywhere. However, it did give us a good view of this specific part of the map, but this run came to an end when I took this drain as having some sort of collision, and well, I was wrong, I slipped, fell, and ended up dying. One more thing before we leave the void for good. While traversing it with Batman, I found this grain silo looking thing. I went into photo mode to try and get a better view of it because it was the only time I saw this and I could not figure out what it was for the life of me. So if you have any tips on what this structure could be, let me know. Unfortunately though, this brings our tour of Arkham Knight's Void to an end. It was a fun trip, but all good things must come to an end. Take this video for example. Thank you all so much for joining me on this journey, and I hope you learned something along the way. If not, I hope you were entertained by my rambling about this unexplored void. Thank you for watching, I'll see you next time, and goodbye.